Hi, so today I thought I'd make a little video on a question that a lot of people have been asking me in the comments. Before I get started, if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the little bell so you'll never miss a video. I'm dropping 2 a week now, so I've upped it a little bit. And yeah, it's getting really good. I think the channel's becoming really interesting and I'm really enjoying making these videos for you guys, and the response has been amazing. So yeah, I hope you'll join us. Click subscribe, click the little bell. A lot of people have been asking me, what made you think you're autistic? Or what made you go and get the diagnosis for autism? And I thought, yeah, I'll make a video about what it was that set my thinking cap going and what I was seeing in front of me in Alfie, that I was like, these are autism signs for him. It's exactly as I was. The next video is going to be about the more serious speech delay, developmental delay sides of it, but I thought this video should be about the less obvious signs that I could have picked up earlier and got a diagnosis earlier. Just the more subtle things that when I put them together, I was like, that's a big red flag. I shouldn't say red flag because I don't think autism's bad, but that's a big sign. So here's the things that you might not think that I looked out for, and I realized when you put these things together, I need to get diagnosis. So for me, what happened was I started seeing things in Alfie that I didn't realize were signs of autism, but it turned out they were. And when I backtracked through my childhood, I realized I did very similar things. And the whole thing started, which sounds funny, the whole thing started with my mum bought Alfie a truck. And she said, she called me after she bought him the truck and she said, oh, I can't wait to see what he does with it. You watch, he'll probably turn it over so it's upside down and spin the wheels. Now that sounds kind of innocuous, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like a big deal. That's a huge autism sign. For kids, I had no idea until we got Alfie diagnosed. Playing with things uncommonly, which isn't a bad thing, I don't think, but like flipping over cars, playing with their wheels is a very big sign. Also, he rubs will rub a car on his tummy. I used to do that. Big thing was antisocial. When I was a kid, I used to hate hanging out with other kids. I absolutely couldn't stand it. I was happy on my own. I was happy playing with computers or later on music, but I didn't like being with other people. And even into adulthood, like if I would go to a social situation, I would worry about it for like literally weeks. If I knew something was coming up next week, I would be concerned and panicked and anxious about it for the whole week. And at these social occasions, I would just put on this front the whole time, which was exhausting. And I would finish social occasions just completely drained and wiped out. And I was like, why do I feel so completely wiped out after anything social? Why am I so awkward, but pretending not to be awkward? That's the way I describe masking. It's like you're feeling very awkward, which I do in social situations. If I'm speaking to someone, especially if it's small talk, I feel super awkward, but I really put on the front that this isn't awkward. I really like, this is normal and I'm enjoying this. But that act of putting that front on is called masking, and it's something that autistic people do, and I've done it all my life at every social occasion. And when I heard, wait, that's an autistic thing, that was like a big flag for me. Like, wow, that's not normal to mask. That's not normal to pretend that you're enjoying social situations when you're really hating it. That's not normal. I didn't realize. So that was another big sign. So if you find yourself like drained after social situations and you feel like you feel like they're very difficult, like hanging out is very difficult, it could be, that could be a sign. I mean, I wouldn't take one of these things as being, okay, I need to get checked out. But if you have a few of them, it's worth looking at. Another thing, which I've talked about in another video, is hyperfixation. If you're completely obsessed with your thing that you love, if you're completely obsessed with your hobby to the point of, like, if I'm doing something else, like going back to social situations, if I'm at a dinner with someone, this sounds terrible, but if it's a social like get together, I'll be thinking about my special interest music sometimes the whole time. and just masking the social side of it, and then in my head just feeling soothed by thinking about what I love to obsess on. And it's an obsession. Are you obsessed with something that you keep, when you think about it, it soothes you and makes you feel good? It's like, you know, relaxing, makes you feel like there's order in the world in a way. You're like, okay, if I think about this, I know where I am and I know what I'm doing. And that's another sign, hyperfixation on what they call a special interest. My studio is like a special interest for me. I'll make lists, endless lists of how I want my studio to be. And I never read those lists, but I'll make endless lists about it. Here's a weird one, making up words, having your own language, which I've done ever since I can remember. Another sign of potentially being autistic. I've always done that. I've always had my own language and my own sort of words for things. It sounds weird, but big into nicknames, big into, I mean, those kids have got so many names, it's ridiculous. Another sign you might be autistic, hypersensory, like sensations, you feel them super intensely. Like for me, it's music and sound. It can be textures, it can be food, it can be smells, anything sensory where you super attuned to it, and it makes a big impact on you. And it can be negative as well, like some noises really make me, I don't like it. Karaoke, if I like karaoke, I can't go to a karaoke bar. It's literally mind melting. I cannot do it. It's torture. So for me, that's a sound that I mean, I'm super obsessed and hyperfixated on music. I cannot stand a karaoke bar. It's literally the worst thing I can imagine. And there's other things as well, but if you're overly affected by sensory issues, that's another sign you could be autistic. I'll make another video about this because there's quite a long list and I want to get through them in like bite-sized chunks so you can take things away from it. But those are a few that Dr. Amen talked about in my video, and we'll get into others and other signs that I had that I was autistic when I started seeing them in Alfie. And having a kid really makes you think about your childhood. And I'm stunned that Alfie's autistic and I'm autistic. I'm absolutely stunned. I never would have imagined, never in a million years would I have imagined this was going to happen. But the more I know about it and the more I find out about it, I think it really can be a superpower, and I think it's responsible for me being successful. The hyperfixation, sensory, so music, I'm very affected by music. I'm hypersensitive to it, and I'm hyper obsessed with it, and I think that's why I was successful in music. So yeah, back again with another one of these very soon. I hope you like it. If you do like it, click like, because apparently that helps my channel. I love you guys, and we'll speak again in a couple of days.